Quite frequently, when referring to ranges within Excel, within your VBA, we would tend to use the cells property. The reason for this is that it allows you to reference a row and a column by a numeric value. Because it's using a numeric value, we can then programmatically define those values, which allows us much more flexibility than using A1, A7, J35. For example, where we have our range A4 to H98, we could reference that slightly differently using the cells property. If I bring that value down here, instead we could say, right, it's the range object we want. But you can see even the tooltip is suggesting using the cell property. So we're going to say cells 1, 1, which effectively is A1. So this is 1, 4 for A4. And then to reference the second value in our range, instead of putting a colon that we're used to putting here between the start and the end of a physical range, we put a comma and then use the cells property again to define the end point. So we need to know really where H falls as far as the letter goes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is the 8th letter, comma 98, close brackets for the cells, close brackets for the range. Now you will find if I press return now, an equal sign is expected. The VBA is not happy with us just writing the range in that format. We have to be doing something with it. So for the purposes of making this work, we're going to assign a value of 84. But this is another way of referencing, and it's a much better way of referencing, although it looks more long-winded, because these values here can be supplied by variables. We can then programmatically move ourselves around a sheet to select different areas based on whatever criteria we're using to make that selection. So that's the cells property used here within the range object to effectively tell us the same as that. It's the same area as that physical area. Now you can use the cells property directly on a worksheet without the range object. So you could say worksheets, open brackets, sheet 2 dot cells, and you'd refer yourself to a set cell on that sheet. So if we want to refer to A1, we could just do 1, 1. And again, because of the way the property works, we need to actually assign a value. So let's say equals 6. So that will put 6 into A1 on sheet 2. So this is not making use of the range object. This is using the cells property directly on the worksheet, which is an option, but you will tend to see it used here within the range object for dynamically assigning a range to then do something with. The things that we can do with it, we'll find out when we explore all the properties of the range object.